A new difficulty for the Academia stage VE Tower is out. Double S difficulty is very interesting for this stage because it is like no other stage we've had before. People are actually reaching the point cap on like days 2 and 3, which is insane. So right now I have 15,200 points and the point cap, as far as I know, is 15,300. If we go in here, I will show you guys the teams I used to complete this, and then I do have some pre-recorded footage of the different runs that were successful for me. Obviously it has to be pre-recorded unless you guys wanted to watch 2 hours of resets, because it does take a very long time to actually reset to get the perfect score that you were looking for. And the scores that I got obviously weren't even perfect because I only have a score of 15,200, whereas a perfect score would be a score of 15,300. So you want basically like a crap ton of crits in this, a crap ton of technicals, a ton of plus ultras, and a ton of status elements. These are all going to be 8-turn clear floors. So this is my first floor team, this is my second floor team, and then this is my third floor team. If you need to see these teams or memories at any point, just rewind the video, pause it where you need, and then you guys can see the teams. You'll also see the action skill orders that I use for these teams in order to get the scores that I get. With all that said, let's hop into the runs and I'll explain a little bit more as we watch back the video. This is the first floor versus the Robo Inferno. Now, to some people, the robot healing is a big nuisance, but actually that healing is your best friend in this stage, because if you did not heal him, you would kill him too fast. So for these stages, the first floor, the high score or the max score you can get is 4,771. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get turn 2 plus ultras. That way you can get 9 plus ultras throughout the entire stage total by turn 8. You're going to want 9 status elements before you get to the final turn. You're going to want at least 15 technicals, I believe it is, to get the max score for technicals, and then you want 40 critical hits by turn 8 to get the max score for critical hits. So you need a lot of stuff to get max score on all of those areas, but if you are able to get max score on all of those areas, then you can have the high score for this floor, or the max score, which once again is 4,771. By the end of this run, I forget what I was missing. I was missing something. I'll point it out to you guys when we get there. I think it was crits. I think I was missing some crits by the end, just because simply, I'm going to be honest with you, this is the one VE tower I have not counted crits on yet because I'm lazy, because that is 8 turns of counting crits over and over and over again, not to mention counting all the status elements, which is mainly what I was doing, because the status elements, I'm going to be honest, are kind of a pain with this team to get. This team probably has realistically one of the best chances of doing this for floor 1, but it is still kind of a pain to get all the status elements that you're looking to get. And you can see him healing there. We are on turn 5 or 6 now. I missed the turn counter, but there were many times, many runs where I actually didn't get the robot low enough, and then there were times where I got the robot too low too quickly and killed him on turn 7 instead of turn 8, so it can happen either way, so just keep that in mind. This team does have really good survivability though, with the barriers from Todoroki and just the characters that you have on the team. All Might's ecstatic is really important, and then Dabi has really good cooldowns, plus the status element, so everybody on this team is kind of irreplaceable. So I know people usually are like, well, what can I replace characters with? There's not a lot you can replace these characters with for this specific team. I tried out different variations, but this was the best possible team. The best advice I can offer to you is, if you're trying to switch things up because you're doing too much damage or too little damage, is mess with your memories. Switch out to a rare memory, switch out to a level 1 memory, switch out to a story memory, which are things I had to do just to get to where I wasn't doing too much damage too quickly. On this particular stage, that was my biggest problem. So 36 critical hits. I was missing points on the crits. Everything else I got full points on, plus ultra moves, status elements, all that. I only got 80 points on critical hits, whereas you can get 100 points if you had 40 critical hits, but a score of 4,742 is not bad. So this is the second floor, and this is the floor I probably struggled with the most, mainly because of survivability and the fears. The fears and survivability are big factors. If you get feared early on and you don't meat lump the people, or you don't freeze them, then it causes your characters not to do the skill chain or not to do the plus ultra you wanted to do, and you just have to reset immediately. So for this stage, I actually didn't count status elements or crits. I actually just went for the completion, because I know this team, basically if you complete this floor, you have gotten the status elements you need. and you've gotten probably the crits you need, because this team barely hits the amount of damage you need to finish, and you need the status elements to survive. If you don't hit the status elements, you just simply don't survive. So for this floor, I honestly didn't count anything, because I knew if if any of my status elements didn't proc the way they were supposed to, I was pretty much dead and had to reset. So obviously right here, you can see in this run, hit a lot of status elements. I might already have all 9 status elements I need. I think by the end I had like 15 or 16 status elements, so obviously way overkill on the status elements, but I found that this team works pretty well just for consistency and getting through this stage. And then right here we have a plus ultra. Missed the meat lump, but that's fine because we've hit so many meat lumps. Right now my biggest concern is Shigaraki killing Shishikura, but he attacks Getten, which is good. That's another reason bringing Getten along is good, because he's type disadvantaged, so he gets attacked sometimes over Shishikura, even though Shishikura is a lower level for me. Getten is a free-to-play character who is max level 120, and then Sue is just, you know, never targeted because she's able to hide. And we're coming into the final turn here, and I was very happy that Shishikura was still alive. As you can see, Seiji was almost dead. And my biggest worry now was killing Shigaraki before we got all 3 plus ultras, but luckily I did not kill him with Getten, and I was able to get all 3 plus ultras off. So honestly, this is a very decent run in my opinion. I have gotten the score a little bit higher in Mox than you're about to see right here. I was missing a lot of crit points right there. I only got 65 crit points. If you get 35 crits, you get 80 points. If you get 40 crits, you get 100 points. So my biggest problem here was just missing crits, and that's something I can fix with just going back and actually counting crits. Same with the first floor, so make sure if you're using these teams you count crits. And for the final floor, you are taking on Todoroki. This is probably the easiest floor in my opinion. This is the floor that you're not going to have to concern yourself with too much, because you're just looking for status ailments, and that's about it. Your crits will come easy because Hawks has double attacks, and then your crits will come, or your status ailments will come fairly easy with Mountain Lady Midnight, because Midnight is just a crit machine against males, right? Now there is one thing to note: on the very first turn with this team, you need to make sure you're using Hawks' second action skill and targeting your Uraraka to give her plus ultra gauge up, at least with the memories I'm using. That way everybody gets their plus ultras on turn 2. The key for all 3 of these floors though is that you want turn 2 plus ultras to be able to maximize your plus ultras to get 9 plus ultras within 8 turns. All 3 floors kind of have the same system or method behind them. You just have to switch up the characters you're using to match the status elements and abilities that you're facing from the enemy characters. So this Todoroki can be annoying, and it's a little bit RNG whether he freezes you or not, but basically if he freezes one of your characters, it's over. You need to reset, so make sure you reset if that happens, but hopefully you can keep him chain stunned essentially to where he can't freeze your characters. Alright, so right here I think he's either going to block or, yep, freeze. Luckily it misses, but if that freezes right there, you have to reset, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. And we have him about to have health right here. We land the stun, that's nice. I believe in this run I get 8 stuns instead of 9, and I just took it because I was like, I'm just doing this for recording anyways. I'm not going for my perfect run yet. And honestly, a perfect run, it could take all day. You could sit there literally for a full day trying to get the runs you want for VE Tower. So VE Tower, not for the faint of heart. Anyone who's new to the game, it is definitely a grind, the grindiest thing in the game. At this point, I don't know why they don't just add a reset button into VE Tower, because they know people are closing the app, reopening it to get these scores, right? That's the whole point of VE Tower. It's what makes it fun, is the grind and the ability to reset. They should just add a reset button to each floor to make it simpler and faster for us, but who am I? And then we get all the plus ultras right there. I was a little bit worried once again about doing too much damage. This is another 4 though where you do too much damage or too little damage, so you got to be careful with the memories you put on your characters for this floor. And we'll take a look at the score here. I had 41 crits. You can see the full 100 points there for 40 crits. I had 18 technicals, 9 plus ultra moves, only 8 status elements though, so I was missing the status elements, and that made me miss a few points that I could have had for this floor. So overall, adding all of my scores together, I was able to get just 100 points over the cap, and I don't believe you can go higher than 15,300 points, so that's a pretty respectable score, and that puts me in 6th place. There are already people, like I said, who have hit the max point cap And then basically, from my understanding, they're not tied for like first place, even though they both have the same score. It's whoever did it first gets first, whoever did second gets second, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's how you get a score of over 15,000, guys. Hopefully that helps you out even a little bit in BE Tower. Go back to the beginning, look at the teams if you need to. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.